Okay. Monday morning makeup on the 1st of April. No joke. All right. We are getting to it. I'm going to wait a minute. And I am super excited because I've been playing with a new product based off of what people are telling me. I'm going to clean a brush or two. My detail brush. Oh, I love that thing. It just gets so dirty so fast. But first of the month, new shade that is out. It is Lily, and it is so pretty. I will say this. Everybody got Strawberry Fields, and everybody was really, really excited about it, which is this one right here. But then when you put it on, you really don't, you can't see it. Like you put it on and you just really don't see it. Lily is what I expected out of Strawberry Fields. I'm talking pigment, color. It looks purple, but Strawberry Fields is what it to me, it looks purple, or not purple, pink. So for me, what I got out of Lily is what I was expecting to get out of Strawberry. I wanted that color. So we're going to play with that today. I'm going to swatch it with anything that's requested for what people think it's similar to or want to see it next to. So yeah, I'm just going to clean off my detail brush and get started. But it's the first. Easter's over. Goodness. I want to love holidays. I want to. I've got little kids. They still believe in the magic of the holidays. Good morning, Mrs. Barris. Mr. Barris. But yeah, so for me, I like holidays. I do Easter with family on Saturday because I know when you start getting married and there's kids being born and all that stuff, you're split. Where do we go? Mom wants to go see, like my sister-in-law wants to go see her family with their new baby. She's not even one. And so, everybody wants the first. I don't like the feeling of having to pack up all your stuff and travel to all these different houses. So I was like, you know what? This is water. Ugh, I washed my face. Anyway, I created Saturday as like a brunch. Bring the food. I do an egg hunt. And then Sunday, Easter, do you. I don't, come to me. I invite everybody. My side, my husband's side. Bring everybody. We do an egg hunt. We do Easter. And then Sunday, everybody's free to do their own traditions in the morning. They don't have to rush it because they got to pack up and they got to get to a house and whatever. And so I thought, you know what? Get the grandparents together. Get everybody together. So everybody, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, but my biggest thing with holidays is I don't like gifts. I think that it takes away from what I think personally holidays are about, which is family, getting together, enjoying each other. Like the biggest gift for me is time because it's so fleeting and it's so limited and tomorrow's not promised. So if you get everyone today, enjoy the time. Like that's the best gift. So I don't ask for anything. Like I've got the food, I got the hunt, I got the stuff. Give me yourself. Like I just want to be able to have a good time with you. Not everybody's able to do that. They want their shit and then they want to get out of there. Oh, yeah. Anyway, it's the end of the holidays. Oh, I try to be an old soul, Mrs. Barris. I got a little new soul in me, though, where I get all bitter. I'm just a bitter woman on the inside. Okay, so I'm letting my skincare soak in. I'm using a new skincare, and my skincare feels better my skin feels better than it looks. I've been using the skincare for a little over 2 weeks, so there's an adjustment period with skincare. My skin feels like it went back in time. My skin does not look like it went back in time. I'm getting one, hormonal breakouts, 2, skincare breakouts. Anytime you change your skincare, makeup included, your skin's going to be like, what's this? And so it adjusts and I'm getting little breakouts. I'm hoping it's going to correct my discoloration because I love sharing how to cover it, but I don't love having it. So I'm hoping this is a make a mess to clean a mess. This is like, it's really, I like zooming in, but you can see I've got some rosacea This is a breakout from the skincare I'm thinking, or hormones, whatever. But this is all kind of new. This was a new spot before skincare. But hormonal breakout. I used to break out on my cheeks all the time. That's what all these scars are, from old cystic scars. I have one that is textured, so it's deep, because I was a picker. And for me, this is a lot more red than usual. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening with the skincare. I'm not saying the name of it because of this stage. I was expecting this stage. It's like school. Kids go to school, they get excited, and 2 weeks in, they're like, this sucks. Don't let me go there. And so right now, I feel like that. Like, I don't want to use this skincare. I did pull back on my scrubby. It has that, you know, that apricot scrub. Remember that stuff? This has a finer grit. It feels like sandpaper when you're rubbing it in. And it says to do it twice a week. I'm going to go to one because I feel like it's irritating my skin too much because it's gritty. Like, I feel like a power sander when I'm putting it on. Anyways, all right, we're going to play with Lily because it is a beautiful color. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it's part of the Advent shade. So this is April's color of the month. And it's so very, very lovely. And I'm going to pull out Strawberry Fields because I think that Strawberry Fields looks pink, but they aren't that far off, right? These aren't that far. I'm staying zoomed in because I'm going to do stuff. But this is Strawberry Fields. And it just, you see it? There you go. There you go. I really got to tilt it to see it. But Lily, you can see it much better. Do you see that? I mean, no matter where I am, you can still see it. But it has that pink tone to it. This is so light and so neutral. It's more like a setting powder. And so I like Lily because I was expecting, come on. So Lily, shade of the month, we're going to play with it. I'm going to do my eyes first. I've been doing, so I did the Kate Middleton, or Princess Catherine, people. And I've been loving it, except I loved it. Here's the deal. She does not follow my hooded eye rule. Like, I need to write her a letter. Like, on top of everything, let's work on this eyeshadow placement. But to me, it just made my eyes look smaller because she doesn't bring it up and out. I don't know what the rules are with all that, but I want to, like, do her makeup. Probably everybody does. All right, so let's do the thing. You want to see the creepiest picture? My husband's grandma painted this, and my daughters love it. But I ended up adding a shelf in their room because they needed it, and there's no place for this painting. Pay no attention to how disastrous this office is. Do you see that? Let's see. It's cats. She painted this. She hates it. She calls it that monstrosity is what she used to call it when she was around and we would put it up. But it is cats. I don't know. My daughters love it. Let's put this back. Oh, God, can I? Oh, let's zoom back out while I do this. Okay, because nobody needs to see. Don't look at the office. Right here. I need to clean it. My husband even came in. He goes, what are we going to do about this? Okay, let's do makeup. And I said, I'm going to clean it up. Some point. All right, we're going to do Lily as my base, but I've been really loving doing that gradient look I've done before, a bit with the Catherine colors. I love browns. I'm a neutral girl at heart, but Lily is such a great base with a great pop of color. Good morning, Mrs. Parker. Mrs. Parker. I have you in my phone as Mrs. Parker. Okay. But I'm trying to get this light up here replaced. There's a box by the cat painting that has a new light. He won't do it because he says the room's a mess. I've cleaned this room twice. Oh, shoot. That's not what I wanted to use. Okay. I got an eyeshadow primer. We're going to do an experiment because we talked about this on here, about how eyeshadow primers, you better respond to my Marco. It's just a complaining rant. Oh boy, I went off. Anyway, so everybody keeps telling me that if I were to get an eyeshadow primer, that my eyeshadows will be more pigmented and it will last longer. Now, I will say I did use this primer all weekend and it held up better than my makeup. So I will say it's a great primer. It's a great primer. And here it is. This is by Singeance. My friend, she sells it and she sent it to me. And it comes on a little doe foot and it does have color to it. And so I've just been placing it on here. And then I've just been using my finger, and we are going to side by side this. So I have my brightening highlight over here, and I will say my brightening highlight is obviously brighter, but we're going to put this on, and I will say my friend sleeps in her makeup. Don't get me started on her about that because I tell her all the time. Anyways, so Saint primer, all right? This is in the instructions. It's ridiculous. Okay, this is, I'm going to go as far as to say my least favorite word. It is stupid. Do you see that? Nobody, even with readers on, can anybody read this? No, even with readers. This is ridiculous. So I don't even know if I'm using it right because I can't read it. I can't read it. It didn't come with paper instructions. My hair. Woo. Okay, I'm going to place Lily on as my base. I need a brush. We're going to use the short end of the blend brush. We're going into Lily. This is such a pretty color. We're going to go over. Look at how it just pops and brightens. That's so pretty. We're going to grab it again. Let's try it on the Singeance side and see if it pops better. What do we think? What's the vote? There's enough of you here to make a vote. Yeah, I don't need you to vote. You sleep in your makeup, Mrs. Barris. Shame on you. Okay, I'm going to go so far as to say, yeah, you can tell a difference. It did grab it. All right, we're going to put in some colors with this. There's two colors that I think are the same, and that's Kin and Eve. It's ridiculous. They look the same. I'm going to grab Kin. It's my favorite. This was a color I got that because it's similar to a MAC color I used to use. So I used to take a color like this and I'd jump up my makeup at the end of the day if I was going out or something. All right. We're going to pop this on next, and I'm going to be using my blur brush on the big end. This was the way I did my makeup for Easter yesterday that nobody saw. And I'm going to pop this along. Oh, that's so pretty. And we're going to pop this on my lid. Now let's see if it grabs better over here. What the dickens? No. Guys, it grabbed Lily better, but I don't know about Kin. All right, we're putting this on. I'm being pretty messy with it. I'll shape it out in a minute. And then I'm going to bring this out. We're going to fluff it. I'm having a hard time controlling this makeup today. Oh my gosh, I do have to clean it. All right, we're going to just blend this out. Bringing it down, bringing it out. And this is why you see all that? This is why you do your eye makeup first, because this would mess up your cream. All right? It would mess up your under eyes and make them look darker and older, and it would affect the color of your highlight. So we're just going to sweep this back and forth and bring it out. This is why we do our makeup first on our eyes. All right, sweeping it, blending it. We want to even it out. I'm going to say I'm not seeing a huge difference in application, honestly, between a Saint and a primer. I am going to say I do like the primer more than Saint for longevity. But as far as the comparison of pigment, okay. I also think that Kin is a really great pigment color. It's a shimmer, but it's such a light. I think it looks more like a satin. It's okay. We're going to clean this up. All right. So that was Kin, and it's a really pretty color for brown eyes, hazel eyes. We're going deep today. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of Lily here. We're going to pop this right in the middle. Right here in the middle. just to brighten up a little bit of the lid, just using the finger and letting it play with that color. And then we'll clean it up. Let me just put this little thing away. My makeup is very much unorganized right now. Very unorganized. Okay, I'm going to talk about getting Lily. You're not liking the primer. This is a hard color, but I did want to try a light color and a dark color with the primer. I will say though, I did my makeup yesterday, and by the end of the night, like I had done Easter, I had been cleaning, I had been outside, I had been inside, I had gone to the store, I cooked dinner, I came home from dinner, and my eyeshadow still looked really great. Like it looked great, just as good as when I first put it on. So I will say I do like this because it's not supposed to be your eyeshadow color. It's supposed to be a good base. Okay. Too Faced is really great. I used to use Too Faced before Saint. And I had slept, back then I had slept in my makeup a time or two. Okay, we're going to go in with some eyeliner. I'm going to use the Etch brush that I'm looking for right here. And we're going to go into Salem. I prefer Salem over Black Friday because it's a powder. And Black Friday doesn't set. I'm just spraying my brush here. I'm using the Etch brush on the square end, and I always just wipe it down, and then we're just going to grab and pull. So I'm going to just grab it and pull it and just put it on the sides here, tap it off, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to rub this into my lashes. I'm not going on my waterline, I'm pushing on the lashes and then pushing it onto my lid, and then I'm going to go over top and stamp it over top just to have a little baby wing. And I know this looks dark, but once we put our face on, it all comes out in the wash, I promise. All right, grabbing a little more, tap it off, and I'm just going to go in. I always make the top line of my liner first, and I get it where I want it, and then I figure out where I want to attach it to my lash line. Sometimes it's to the corner, sometimes it's just to where the lashes start. It's different depending on where my face is falling that day. And then I'm going to get right here. But I like adding that little bit of Lily because it lightened up the mid of the lid just a little bit to open up the eye. Because when you have hooded eyes, you want to bring lightness to the center. I need to blend this up and out a little more for my liking. I like to see my colors. All right, bringing this up and out. Fluffy end to blend it out. Boom. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We're going into Salem, and I've been finding that I ran out of my pencil liner, and this has been really, really good. All right, and this will all get cleaned up when we start putting on our makeup. Hold on a minute. There we go. Okay, we're going to pop this on. We did so good last Monday with no weirdos. We did so good last Monday. It was so great. Can't get everything you want. All right, so we're just using Salem, and I'm just going to add this to the top. But I like using a dark color because it also shows really well when it falls out, because I have a lot of fallout. And if you have balm prepped, if you have any cream or any concealer on and you do your makeup first, it's going to change the color. And then when your under eyes are darkened, it just makes them look more mature than they are. And that's why a lot of people steer away from wearing dark colors when they have mature eyes. But you can wear dark colors, just do it first. Do it first. All right, let's add some mascara and then we can clean this up. Actually, I'm going to grab this Etch brush. And we're just going to take what's left from yesterday. We're just going to smoke this out with fallout and, again, whatever was left yesterday, which was, I think I did Eve yesterday. All right, grabbing onto that primer. I've been having a heck of a time with my mascara. I think that little inside thingy that cleans the brush as it comes out so it's not a big old goopy mess, I think it fell in to the tube. All right, where are we? There it is. So when I open it, it's Goopy. Goopy, goopy. All right. New releases are coming. While I got people here, there are new releases coming. They are on the 15th and they look great. There are no new illuminators. There's no new shadows, just Lily for the month. Just to give full disclosure, I'm getting a video together to post in my shorts so you can see it. And there's some really cute stuff. There's a really great brush holder. There is a link in Rise in my description where you can get color matched and you can shop. So yes, there's a link there if you'd like to do that. And it's just in my link tree. I'd love to color match you if I need a color match. If you want to, if I need a color match, if you want a color match, I just need a makeup-free selfie facing a window a couple steps back, kind of just like I am right now. There's a window in front of me, and then you just take a couple steps back. So message me, and I can color match you. It's a great time because we have the new color that's out that's really pretty as a base, but also the new releases on the 15th, great for Mother's Day. There is a new scent that I'm actually pretty curious about. I don't typically buy the perfumes, but this one sounds like it smells really sweet, like vanilla and frosting, and I like to smell like food. So it sounds good to me. So I'm going to get it on the 15th. I did order, there's 3 new palettes coming out. I did order those because I want to give a good review on them. Because sometimes they're palettes, and one of the palettes looks like this one, which is a beautiful palette, but it does rub off, and I don't like that. And I don't like telling people to go buy a palette that's going to do this. So I did order each of the palettes in a palette 4, and we'll see how they come, because I just don't like when patterns rub off. The black lace was like that. This one is like that, but I want you to love your everything, your palette itself, all of that. All right, let's clean this up. You just, I don't know, wipe it off. We can just wipe this off. Comes off pretty simple. Just wipey, get a makeup wipe, get a wet paper towel, we clean it up, and that makes everything easy. I prefer this over using a brush because I still think a brush can rub it onto your skin, and you really don't want it affecting your makeup. All right, I also use my primer to help a little bit, but I am oily. I'm an oily girl, and with my new skincare, I will say, they have you take a test to see what your skin type is and what you're looking for out of your skincare so they can find you a regimen and recommend the things. And I love that. It's not an auto ship. Love that too. And I have maturing skin because I'm 43, and I also have oily skin, and I do feel like it's helped with my oil control, which is big. I've never had a skincare control my oil, but I will say I like the way my skin feels, but I've been in the last week, in the last 5 days, showing up without makeup has been really hard for me. It's okay. That's why when people are like, I don't want to send you a makeup-free picture, I get it. I get it, because this is hard for me to show up to. I have a hard time showing this. I think everybody does, when everybody is their own worst critic, and nobody is looking at anybody's face like this, where they're all up in the business. I love showing how to cover it, so I'm going to show you how I am able to cover it without a lot of texture and makeup. Makeup will always look like makeup on skin, so if anybody says it looks like skin, it does have a skin-like finish, but it still looks like you're wearing makeup. Be clear. I'm using 3D, so it's Saint Makeup. It is 3D foundation. Everything in here is a foundational color. I'm going to go into this color right here, which looks like concrete. And this is what I use to correct my redness. So this fiery red around my nose, I'm going to take a blend brush. This is a light application brush, and we're going to go in. And my reasoning for this is nothing other than I figured gray could mute down red. That's it. That's the only reason why I thought so. And then I tried it, but also because it's dense, it's going to hold my makeup in place when I put it on for longevity. Primers are great. I love this as just a light coverage over my pores, over my discoloration, because this is my biggest insecurity. Not back here on my hyperpigmentation, right here on the apple of my cheek. This is where I feel like everybody's staring at me. I don't think they're looking at anything else except this mess. And it makes me feel it's okay to have an insecurity, and it's okay to want to cover it, because the makeup I wear is the makeup I wear for me and what makes me feel good when I walk by a mirror. I want to walk by a mirror and feel good. And that's why I like makeup. That's it. Makeup is for me. Makeup on my hard days, doing little things. I've been having conversations with people where it's just like seasonal depression. It's a thing. Doing little accomplishments, making your bed, loading the dishwasher, putting on your makeup, getting dressed for the day. Little things that are easy to accomplish can lift you up. And for me, walking by a mirror with my makeup on gives me a confidence. I'm not going to walk into a grocery store and feel good looking like this. So I'm going to take that aspen color. It's a contour, it's dense, and I lightly am going to go over my redness here. Now understand, I'm correcting, not covering. There's a difference with correcting and covering and camouflaging. I just want the redness dull. I still am going to see the problems because this is my corrector, not my coverage. This is not my skin color. I'm not the color of death here, okay? But do you see how the fire is out and the redness is muted? It went from red, and this side was quite a bit more red than over here. But I have this hormonal breakout here that has a little bit of fire to it. I'm just going to grab a little bit of that concrete color. I prefer this over Demi because Demi is creamy and this is dense. This is a contour and it's meant to be put somewhere, blended, and then it stays really well. And so I just take this color and I'm just really lightly feathering the brush over the redness, and muting the redness down. Now, this new skincare has made my skin, the redness is pulled forward. So I take what's left on the brush and I just go over my brows, dull the redness. I'm still seeing the problems. My chin has been red. I mean, my skin's irritated. The redness is muted. Just from that really light coverage, there's not makeup cream coverage. You still see my stuff, but the redness is down and it's not this cakey, like it's not like that, okay? It's just muted it down really, really nice. We're gonna zoom back out again, okay? But I like showing that you can still wear your makeup and cover your acne, cover your scarring, cover your whatever you're wanting to cover. I have texture breakouts. We're going to talk about that. But you don't have to have that heavy makeup that looks heavy. It looks chalky. It looks dry. It feels dry. When you put your hand on your skin, you feel the barrier. When I tried Saint, I had used different makeups all the time trying to get the things. My thing was when I tried Saint, it felt better on my skin. My skin felt like it was still breathing. It felt like it was still living. It didn't feel like I had a coating on it. And that's what I like. All right, go into the fluffy end. We're going to go to the next color down. This is a lip liner. This is also dense, and this is the color Suede. And I just take it and I sweep it into my brush. I need to melt and clean my tins. I know. We're going to take it and I have my hyperpigmentation spot right here. And I'm going to go around it and camouflage it. I picked this color. I have it coming in all up here. I put this on to camouflage. I'm putting similar tones around tones. This works great with freckles. This works great with hyperpigmentation. And then I just bring it down over my big hyperpigmentation spot. Grab a little more. We have that one right over here. I've got a couple spots coming in. We're camouflaging. And again, I do this for the same reason that I do the aspen. This is a similar tone, so it's camouflaging. Gray over brown isn't going to hide it, but brown on brown around is going to hide it, and the density is going to hold my makeup on top for longevity. That is the why. That is the why. I want to walk out with confidence. I don't want to walk out looking like a birthday cake. These are creams. These are 80% pigmentation. Your traditional makeup is 18% pigmentation. So when you're using your liquid foundations, it's very much less pigmentation. So that's why you end up with more product on your face. This, you get more with less on your face because of the pigmentation and the fact that my contour is also my coverage. All right. I'm going to go over and I'm just going to give, because I have some loud hormonal breakouts, I'm going to take a buff brush on the big end. We're going to go into hazel. This color is a little light, darker. So I've got this that's too dark for my skin. This is my main foundation, Athens, and this is white peach, my brightening. And I use these together because our skin isn't one color all over. I'm a little bit darker in areas, I'm a little bit lighter in areas. I also want to brighten in areas. But to give coverage, if you're using a similar tone, it's going to pull through. If you use something too light, it's just going to show texture. It's going to look like you swept something too light over it, and it's going to show. So if you go a touch darker and we just tap that over the scarring, and when you have a texture breakout, understand you're never going to get rid of texture, puffiness, breakouts that lift off the skin. We can't get rid of texture, but we can camouflage it. And so using something just a little bit too dark, going over it, I'm not blending this out super well, so we take this scarring and we just put that color that's a little darker than it over right here, and then we're going to let it work. All right, that's my coverage. This is heavy. I'm going to blend it out. It's going to work with everything. I'm going to go in with the smaller end of that buff brush, and I'm going to go into Athens, which is the middle color that's closest to my skin tone, and I'm going to even out my skin tone. And I'm just going to pull this down, and then I'm going to come up and just tap. You don't want your bristles sticking together. That means you have too much makeup on. And then I can go in and I can tap this into my nose, and I can even out my skin tone and work it into that. Okay. There you go. It works into that hazel color that was too dark, and it still gives you coverage. This is lifted. You can't hide a shadow. You're never going to be able to hide a shadow. And so texture is texture. I'm taking my brightening highlight, and I'm going to go right down here, and I'm going to lighten and pull my makeup down to bridge. Am I frozen? What am I, Mrs. Barris? You lost me. Am I frozen? Am I frozen really close with a bad face? All right, we're going into Athens. And again, we're just going to even out. You went black. I went black. Oh. But I'm back now. Okay, good. All right, going in with Athens, and we're just going in, and we're gonna go over and bring it, balance, bring it up. Does this make sense? I hope this makes sense with using camouflaging and grays and dark colors. Everybody's skin is a little bit different. If you have mature skin, there's extra steps. If you have discoloration, there's extra steps. If you have acne, there's extra steps. It's okay. And then sometimes you don't need extra steps. And I take that all into account when I'm doing a color match. All right, boom. And we work it into that hazel, and then it creates this really great balance. I'm going to go into my detail brush because I love this brush for contouring. If you're just getting into contouring, this is the brush you want. This is great for under eyes. You could do your whole face with just this brush, the way I use the buff brush. I think this is a good medium to full coverage brush. If you're wanting light coverage, we're going to grab a different brush. I would say blush and bronzer. This is a good medium coverage, and then this helps blend things down. All right, so I'm going to go in on the square end, and we're going to go into our contour next. And we're going to grab this on. I'm putting it all over, but our bristles are not sticking and clumping together. They're on the tips of the bristles. And we're going to go around over here and around over here, and then pop it over and just bridge them together. I like using colors in the winter time, in the spring when we really haven't gotten a lot of color unless you're in Florida. I like using colors like cedar and stone and ash and olive because they have a touch of brown to them, so you don't need bronzer. Your contour can do it. All right, I bring my contour a little low because I'm going to turn this into my main highlight, so you're not covering your whole face one color just to restructure it. We want essentially as little on our face as possible, and so we're using our contour as our foundation up here. My hairs are everywhere. Hairs are everywhere. All right, going up, we're going over, we're going to flip to the small end, and I'm going to go into my brightening highlight. Your brightening highlight should be a little lighter than your skin tone, and this is going to give the illusion. See how the light reflects off my forehead? We are only mimicking that. So we pop that into the middle, and then I pull this over my brows, and then I just swirl it around right here. We can bring it down the nose a little bit. I like to save it for the end. and then I'm going to flip it to this end, and I'm going to grab that brightening and I'm going to pull it into my contour. And then it creates this really great balance with dimension, with coverage. Not a lot of makeup can do all of those things just doing that. Boom. I just think this takes my skin to just a better place. Look at how, I mean, I can do a really good forehead. My forehead looks nice. My forehead looks pretty nice. All right. You'll notice that things start accentuating as you start doing things, like my eyes look rough. All right, we're going in. We're going to do the edge of the brush here, and then we're going to go into the top side of the nose on either side. And then I'm going to come all the way down, just adding a shadow, but slimming it down. So I overcorrect. It's okay if it touches. Don't worry. We're going to clean it all up with our brightening highlight, or you can do this with your main highlight. It's whatever you want. I would say if you have a lot of texture on your nose, to use your main highlight. If your nose is just fine, then you can use your brightening. Take that small end, tap it, pinch it like this, and then we're going to go down the middle, and then you use your finger. I like using my finger more than the brush. I think the brush can push it too far out, and I'm just wanting to keep it pretty close to slim in the middle, like that. That's pretty darn good. All right, staying on the edge of this brush. This is why I like the detail brush, because it has this nice, you can either be thin or wide, works with any forehead size, and it also gets good areas. But then when you're wanting a nice straight line, you have this sharp edge. We're going in again, and I'm going to stick above my natural shadow. I don't want to pull my cheeks down. This is also a color that works. I'm using cedar, and again, stone, ash, olive, depending on your skin tone, works well when you have hyperpigmentation or freckles. Because if you use something darker like indigo, I feel like it can grab those colors and pull them through, which is why I don't use it anymore. And when they came out with cedar, I was thrilled because it was dark enough. All right, so I'm just blending that out. I do underblend it a little bit because I'm going to be adding my blush, going over. My hyperpigmentation spot is right in the line of fire of my contour, and that's another reason why I pick my contour the way that I do, is it works well with it. And then I'm just pulling this up and out. Easy peasy. I also do my brows last because when I'm messing with my forehead and this area, I'm just going to hit it, knock it, mess it up. And I have to draw these on pretty good because the 90s were hard. Okay. Your contour is, huh? I haven't heard of that one, but I don't know what that word is. It's supposed to be. All right. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take what's left, and I'm just going to push in front of my earlobes and down, because you don't want this to be super harsh. You don't want it to look like you have a big dark. Is tan lines. Your contour is tan lines. That's interesting. I've never used tan lines as a contour, but you might be. Are you fair toned? Tan lines is a really pretty color for fair skin for bronzer. I've never, but I mean, I used to use bronzer as a contour before contour was a contour. And so I don't think it's a bad idea. I've used Bella as a contour too, and it's been really pretty. It's just a little extra warm. And for some reason, if I put a little bit of if I put bronzer on, it can pull me into an Oompa Loompa phase. So I don't use a ton of bronzer right now. All right, we're going to go in and we're going to do, you use Bella. It's funny how everybody uses different things. I love it. Okay, you need something to cover your melasma. I use suede. It's very hard to just get rid of the hyperpigmentation, because depending on if it's lower on your face, hyperpigmentation can be really tricky and everybody's different. I do believe Saint has something for everyone. It's just finding that something can be a bit of a process. All right, I'm going to do my blush and then my under eyes because I always get a little out of hand. Okay, I've been using these two colors together and they've been super pretty. So Frenchie, my ride or die. I use this with everything. I use it under my eyes. It's a great lip color. And then pink grapefruit. It's really pretty. So when I have angry skin like I do, all that scarring I've worked really flippin' hard to cover it's going to pull through if I use something really bright and pink, like dahlia, pink grapefruit, pink lemonade, baby watermelon, sangria, saffron. If I use those colors, it's going to grab it and it's going to pocket through. Okay? Okay. Your complexion is like J-Lo. Lucky. I would say walnut contour would be really good, or suede. I would try suede, but also, gosh, you said you use tan lines. I wouldn't use tan lines. And the reason I say that is because tan lines is creamy. And I feel like when you're working to cover, so like my hyperpigmentation, when I'm putting, I want it to stay. And I feel like things move when they're creamy. Okay. Because it's creamy. It's wild that you use it for, if a J-Lo, I say I prep with walnut. I'm going to get them. Let me do my cheeks. So I'm going to take Frenchie real quick, and I'm just going to go over where my scarring is. It's a very light color. A lot of people don't like it because they say it falls flat. I don't think it's a standalone color for everyone. I think for some people it is. If you have really fair skin, it is. So I put this over my scarring, and it gives it some good coverage, and it's going to work with my blush. Then I'm going to go into pink grapefruit here, and I'm going to come up here where I don't have a lot of hyperpigmentation. It's going to pull through. So I pop this up here over that hyperpigmentation spot. Not over, but over. On top. Oh, it gets so hard when we're talking about skin. All right, I'm going to take my buff brush. Let's take a buff brush. We're going to go on the big end, and I'm going to start on my pink, and I'm going to just tap it into circles and blend the edges out. Smile so I can see where my apples are, and we're going to bring that down into Frenchie. And then I bring it up and around. Same thing over here. We're going to hit, and we're just blending out the edges, smiling so we can see where the volume of our apples used to be, and then into that Frenchie, and then up the temple. I like bringing it up. It's not gem and the holograms on our face here. It's just pretty. Okay. I like talking about this stuff. This is fantastic. Okay, hold on. I need to grab. Don't pay attention to the mess. Oh, you can't see it. Perfect. Okay. This room's a disaster. Okay. I would recommend walnut. So this is walnut, and you might be able to get away with suede too. These are also really great lip liners. So that's walnut. This is, and it's not far off from, hold on. Let's grab, we're going to grab a lot of colors here. So this is suede. Okay. So that's suede. Stand by. I'm not done yet. I got a lot of palettes here. And then this is tan lines. It's so creamy. It is so creamy. Do you see how it's warm? So having that little orange undertone to it is great. However, I think walnut or suede, you could get suede and you could use it as a prep the way I did, and use it as a contour. Since you like a light contour, I would punch it up a little bit with suede, or walnut won't show up if you contour with it. So I'm going to go with suede or cedar. Let's grab cedar. That's cedar. See how it's just a touch darker? And if you say you have a skin tone like J-Lo, I'm going to squash and say no on walnut. I feel like walnut could work as a prep the way I use with suede, but you could do, I use these two. Prep around your hyperpigmentation with this, with a fluffy brush like the shape brush. Blend brush. I don't recommend the shape. I like the shape brush. I just think that this end is worthless. But I would recommend bumping. I just think this might be too warm and too creamy. And so I like recommending when you're trying to hide something, you're not wanting it hidden right then. You're wanting it hidden for the day. And so using something with um, density, sorry, it's probably really loud next to that microphone. That's my 25 cents on that. I would try, gosh, because I don't know if you're like, I keep thinking JLo. If you're like JLo in the summer, you could probably use walnut as a main highlight, which is very similar to hazel because that's what I used to use. But I would try either suede or well or cedar or both. I use both. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. All right, we're gonna go do our under eyes and we're gonna go into balm. If you have any kind of under eye texture, I have things coming in 43 and my eyes are taking a beating. All right. Maybe I'm just extra happy, so I'm always smiling. I don't know. Or sarcasm or whatever, trauma. Is really coming in right down here. And I'm going to just place my balm under my eyes because texture is texture. And with your under eyes, you're wanting very little makeup because it can easily accentuate the texture. Okay. The peach smells. Oh, I love the peach. Mrs. Paris. Mrs. Paris. Mrs. Paris. I love the peach. They have an unscented one. My peach scent has come out, but also my tin is extremely low. But they have an unscented balm. Tapping that on, and it helps when you place the makeup on top. So we're just putting that on, grabbing some of that peach or balm, unscented. We're putting that one on. There is a new illuminator coming out scent-wise. It is rose gold illuminator, but it's going to smell like vanilla or something. I'm very excited about it. Yes, Mrs. Bears, get the unscented. All right, we're going to go in. I'm going to use that same Frenchy color that I put on my cheeks, and we're going to use it as an under eye corrector. I get a little bit of darkness. Where is it? Right here. And I'm going to go right up into this inner corner with it and pull it out to correct. This is one of the things that I find with traditional makeup, and I see it today when I see other people use it. And I'm not trying to yuck a yum here. It's something I pay attention to that I don't think anybody else does. But when you put a low pigmented foundation on and you haven't prepped everybody puts concealer on because it's so heavy. Get some kind of a balm. You can use a Saint balm with your concealer. You can get one from Honest Company. They have a really good one. That's what I used before Saint. But I noticed that it almost changes the color when you have discoloration and you're hoping that the foundation covers it, but it's so thin because of that low pigment. I'll see people put it on and it almost makes their face look dirty because it hasn't covered the issue. And that's with under eyes. It just looks like I did my eyeshadow last is what I'll notice. Okay. You're picky. I love peach scents. I didn't realize how much I like peach and citrus scents. And I didn't realize that until this year, how much I really love them. You know, those peach rings, I'd love a candle that smells like a peach ring. I will say that. We can get it early, but it doesn't really benefit us to get things early. So I've got the palettes ordered early so I can give before they release to everybody, because I just would hate it if you got it and then you're like, it's rubbing off, because that sucks. All right. You can still see the pattern. See how it's on there, but the gold is off and that bothers me. Okay. I am 43. That's how old I am. Okay. So we're taking that Frenchie and we're going to go right over here. And we're just going to, it turns it a shade of peach. Speaking of peach. And so this cancels it out. I do like this because my husband did this to me. You can't have something in the kitchen that only does one thing. And for me, having a makeup that does more than one thing is important. So when you have Demi, it's kind of a one-trick pony. It's a phenomenal, if you have a lot of texture, it's a phenomenal product, but it's $22. If you're using Frenchie, it's $16, and it's part of your blush, it's a part of your lip color, it's a part of your under eye correcting. So it does three things. 03 is not going to go with your blush. And so I prefer Frenchie. I prefer giving somebody who can get the most bang from their buck. $16. That's to me a really good deal. Everybody always asks, is there a discount on the makeup? Sometimes there is, but when you're getting a foundation for $16, that, good deal. All right, we're going to go in and we're going to take our brightening highlight. I use White Peach. I'm going to use my blend brush. This is the brush. This is the brush for color correcting. This is the brush if you like light application. This is the brush. This is the addition to your collection brush. And I'm going to go in on the small end. We're going to tap into White Peach. We're not sticking our bristles together. And this is where we're going to go follow. You're going to look at less is more here. Less is more. We don't want to accentuate our things. And so we're going to take it and we're going to see where that trough is. And we're going to go right underneath it. And then we're going to bring this up over that discoloration first. All right. I'm going to just blend this into my contour a little bit. And then we're going to go over and you're going to live on that orbital bone. You're not wanting to put direct cream on this soft, I call this the hammock of the eye. You got your orbital bone, one tree. Your eyeball is the other tree. And then you got this hammock in the middle of just unsupported flesh. And so it's very easily textured. You can crepe it. You can accentuate those fine lines. So if you put this under that trough, it camouflages. Everybody has this. And it's all about where you're, nobody posts bad pictures. I'm not going to sit there and be like, nobody's going to post a picture like this. It's all about the placement of your head. And so we're bringing this up and we're living on that orbital bone first. And then we can blend it into the under eye area. And using that balm first, you can do this with whatever concealer you're using a balm first. I've done a comparison of Tarte on one side and Saint on the other. Comparable when you use balm. But it does crepe throughout the day where Saint does not. That's my opinion. But you want very little product because the point is to add a brightness that gives a more youthful look. You see how I did that? I don't want to look like I'm 43. I've been celebrating my 29th birthday for over a decade. People are starting to not believe me. But we're going to grab that brightening. We're not putting a lot on here. And it's 80% pigmentation. Everything in here is foundation, so we don't have a bunch of makeup on our face. And we're going to go under that trough. We're following it up to that inner corner. That's where I get the darkest, is right in there. And then I just tackle this little area here. I need to add a touch more. If you need to grab and add, you can. Going up the orbital. And then you can clean up your eyeshadow if you want. And then you bring it into that soft tissue area. And that's it. We all have under eye texture. You have under eye texture when you're 5. And so putting your makeup on to not accentuate it, less is more. If you have large pores, less. You're never going to cover up a big old hole like a pore adding more makeup. It's just you're going to trade off a texture. You're going to have instead of a pore texture, you're going to have a frosting texture. If you're going to set it with powder, it's going to look like a chalkboard. So it's all a matter of what texture do you want? Do you want your skin to have a texture? Skin is a texture, and skin is beautiful. Like, I don't use an illuminator right now because, one, I'm oily, so I don't use it because it bumps me up to greasy. But your skin can work to illuminate. But also understanding that a breakout is a texture, we can't just shave it off. And understanding that you can cover the color and it will take away from seeing it. Does that make sense? You can't get rid of a texture, but you can work with it. And you can cover the tone, try not to pick it, but also the balm, when you have a breakout and it's healing and it has that flaky air point to it, tap a bit of balm on it and then put your makeup on top of it. And that's even if you're using a concealer. I meant to try this. I never opened it. But if you're going to be taking a big, like a cystic breakout, I used to get it all the time, and you'd pick it and it turns into this volcano on your face. And then it turns into this flaky mess. If you have a balm, Honest Company has a good one. Saints are incredible. Unscented, peach, whatever. And you take those and you tap that over. It's going to hydrate the flaky skin, and it's going to make your makeup lay on top of it better. You're still going to see it, but it's not going to look disgusting. And it's all about taking the textures that are bothering you and not making them look disgusting. All right, I'm going to draw my brows on, and then we're going to do my lips. My lips are my favorite. My favorite, favorite, favorite. All right. I'm using eyeshadow for my brows, and I overplucked when I was in the 90s because my dad watched so much Baywatch, and I think Pamela Anderson is stunning. And I just thought I'll look just like her if my brows are pencil thin. The way I got mine to grow out is I didn't touch them for 3 months at all. A lot of people say I didn't add primers or any of that stuff. I just let I had to let things lie. I didn't touch them. I just let them grow for 3 months, and they were just big and bushy. And then what I do, this is how I shape my brows. I did have them once waxed, and I ended up with 2 different brows. So what I do is you can go and buy those templates on Amazon, find a shape you like, and then stencil your brow. I just draw mine on because I've been drawing them on for a long time. And I bring mine in past the inner corner. A lot of people say you're supposed to do this. I don't. I bring mine in past the inner corner because I want my eyes to be longer, wider, and lifted. And I use my brows. And so I go in and I start on the inner corner and I bring it in and I line it up with my nose tip, not my nostril, my nose tip. And I want it to come in just a little bit more. This was a trend. Watch flat. I talked about this last Monday. Watch flatliners. Look at Julia Roberts' brows. Hers come in real close. Anyway, we're going to draw a hard line, and we're just going to follow the base and then straight up towards the arch. And I just tap as I go. I like having a little mirror right here. Anyway, and then when you get up over here, you don't want to follow down. You want to follow it straight out. And you want to bring it out past the outer corner. Bring it out as far as you flippin' want. It doesn't matter. And it's going to elongate the eye. Then we're going to come about a quarter of the way in on the top. And we're going to follow it up to the arch. And then we're going to go meet that tail. I don't have a tail. It ends pretty short. So if I were to keep it this, it would just be this little dot over my eye. And then I just follow this arch up. You can build the arch up. If you don't have one, build one up. Draw that puppy on. And then you're going to grab and we're going to flick at the front here. And that's the base of your brow. I use 2 colors. I've got Trust here, and then I get Oak. And then I just pull and blend in from that hard line at the bottom and that hard line on the top, and I just fill in my tail here. I use Oak so it's not a big dark block, and I just use a little bit of Oak to fill it in. And then I flick up, flick, 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 flick. Just like that. And then you could take this hard line and blend it inward, outward. We're going to grab some brow wax. If you have clear mascara, that works too. And I'm going to grab and just tame the hairs and pick up excess. And so here's what I do with this. I need to add some more right here. Is that working? There we go. Okay, so just by doing that, I've given my eye lift. I've used my eyeshadow, bringing it up and out over here. I have brightness right here that gives lift. And then I use my brow to add length and lift to my eye. Can I add a light over here without it flickering? We can add my chicken butt light. I still got that thing on here. I love that light. But if I were to just keep my brow, it doesn't look bad until you add more. It's a nice looking brow. And so you can use different things. And then what you do is you go and you grab your tweezers. Once you've drawn the brow onto the shape, use the stencil to the shape. You go and you grab your tweezers, and anything that's not in your drawing, we don't need it. And then you can go in and you can tweeze to your heart's content. And that's how you can shape your brows. And it's cheap. I don't know. They're probably $7 on Amazon to go get yourself a stencil. That's it. All right, so we're going to draw this one on a little bit faster. So we're coming in and going over. I need to add new eyeshadow to this. Anyway, going out and then in. Once you figure it out, it goes real quick. This brow is a lot harder than the other one because it has a lot of bald spots. And then flick it up. And then blend it all together. Grab a little bit of Oak. Flick, 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 flick. But once you figure out your placement, and that goes with everything, your contour, your blush, everything. Once you figure out the placement that you like for your eyeshadow, for your blush, for your brows, for everything, everything gets easier. I'm going to adjust a little bit just so I can see those words. And then we need to fix. We need to fix this guy. And then we'll set the makeup and all that. All right. I don't know. Let's do our lips. We're going to add some contour. We're going to add a little shadow. So my lips, there's nothing special. I get cold sores, so I don't have a lot of lip definition on my bottom lip. I also have thinner lips. They're not all up, and that's okay. I'm not against it. I'm not saying anything about it. All right, we're going to grab a little bit of contour on the edge of the detail brush here, and I'm going to go right here. We're just going to add a little soul patch, and then we're going to kiss above. You know how people outline their lips and they outer line them? Do that with your contour instead of a lip liner. I have a lip line. You see that? And then it has a bit of a bump. If I were to outline that, you would see that the edge of my lip is not the same as my lip color. I don't like that, so I started adding shadows. This is such a pretty area. Don't take away from it by outlining outside of your natural lip. Just add extra shadow. Just add a little Gomez Adams right there with some shadows, okay? And then you can use your finger. You tap this out, okay? Go to the small end. We're going to go to that brightening color we used. And we're just going to add brightness around the outside of the lip. I push this in to my lip. This is a great tip for if you have mature lips. Push your brightening in onto your lip a little bit, okay? My tummy's making noises. I should have thrown in a piece of cheese before I came in here. And then we're just going to tap this out. Okay. This just gives your lip a little bit of definition. So when you line, I'm going to zoom in. When you look at your lip, everybody grab a mirror. Grab your lip mirror, and you're going to look at your lip, your lower lip. And you are going to see, let's just take this off real quick. I have a lip line here. Everybody has a second lip line up here. Everybody go look at their lips. Go look. You're going to see it. Okay, so I take my brightening highlight and I hide the outer lip line. So what you want to do is if you have mature lips, okay, you don't want to bring that lip line all the way to the corner because as we mature, things start going down. And so if you go all the way to the corner, it's going to pull it's kind of like the brows. We don't pull them down. We try to pull them out. So we're going to stop short right here instead of here. You see that little lip line? Skip it. You can put your lipstick there, but not your lip line. And then when we line our lips, we're going to go above that spot. I'm going to use a darker color. We're going to use indigo and desert sunset today. Two colors you probably wouldn't think to go together. It is such a pretty lip combo. All right, I'm taking a multitasker brush. You can do this with lip liner. You can do this, I'm just using this because it has this nice pointy end going into indigo. You can do this with your contour. You don't have to buy a second contour. All right, and we're gonna line the lips. Taking that, and I am gonna go in and I'm gonna get that inner lip line and then hit the lip line itself. And then go around. And it gives your lip a lift. If I were to follow it on the natural lip line, it would pull my lip down. So I go on that inner, come down to the lip line, and around. Just like that, okay? And it gives that lip a little kick in the butt. All right, we're gonna grab some more and we're gonna go and we're just gonna hit that. You see how it looks like I almost have a brightening? I'm gonna get right there. We're gonna get right up into that Cupid's bow. It's hard to talk. Okay, hitting that Cupid's bow. All right, oop, I'm almost putting it into eyeshadow. And then we're gonna come down and stop. Down and stop. Okay, and then it leaves that little area to just whatever. Okay, so we have our lip line. We're not outlined. We have our little Gomez Adams. You can tap it out. Grabbing the whiter end, I'm going into Desert Sunset. This was a color I don't know why I skipped on it, but I haven't used it in such a long time. It's so pretty. And this is going to take us from a dark, weird lip to a nice neutral lip. And it's got a really nice glossiness to it. Going up, going over, and work it into your lip liner. Okay? I just use my finger and you let indigo has a red undertone to it, so it doesn't turn it brown. So if I were to use cedar, it would make it more brown. Renaissance is another really great color. I just didn't have it in my palette. I do have it right here, so we'll just slip that in. I do like Renaissance. Okay. But how pretty, and then you could tap a little more just to touch it up to a little glossiness. And there we go. Then we can zoom out and you can see really what I look like. No one is ever this close to your face. The only person that's this close to your face is you. You are the only person at all critiquing the crap out of your face. You are the only one. And when you are out, this is if you're wearing makeup, this is if you're in a dress you're not super comfortable in, this is if you are in a swimsuit, a cover-up. If you are in any of those things and you are just sitting there in the mirror just looking at every tiny inch, you are the only one looking at yourself that way. And so I will say, you're doing that. Everyone else by the pool is doing that. No one's looking at you. Everybody else is looking at the way that their thigh looks when they're sitting in their lounge chair. All right. So, hold on. We don't have time for this. Boom. Okay. So, we're going to take setting spray. I'm using Urban Decay right here. And it's because I have oily skin. If you have dry skin, Saints is really great. If you have really balanced skin without any oiliness, Saints is really, really good. But I will say if you have any combination skin, I would say Urban Decay or Charlotte Tilbury. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to spray it first all over. Get your face damp. This is what's nice about a cream makeup is you can do that. Then you're going to grab a setting powder. I just use Saints because it fits right here. And it's really fine, really well pressed. And then we're going to go on the outside of the face. And then we work our way in. You see how it just took that sheen and muted it, but it still gives you that dewiness. And a lot like glitter, when you think it's gone, it's not. We've just been pushing it down the brush when we've been doing this. So when you think it's all gone, then you go down the mid, around your nose, around your smile lines, and then you go under your eye. If you're really wanting to set it, which I get, it's a hard habit to break. Don't bake. It just creates a powder texture. It'll always change the consistency of any makeup. Cream makeup, liquid makeup, concealer makeup. I don't know. Anytime you add a powder to anything, it's going to thicken it. So when you're doing that, just make it minimal. Less is more. Less is more. Let's get my chin. But if you have oily skin like I do, just grab an extra powder when you're buying and keep it in your purse. You don't have to go and buy a second tin. You can just keep the lid on it, and then the sachet bag it comes into, just slip it in there and go put it in your purse. And you can use one of those little triangle poofs. You can keep a brush in its box in your purse. It's good. So you could even just keep it in, and then you could just spot treat. So right here I have a zit, so I'll just tap a little bit of powder on it to make it stay a little longer. That's what I do for my zits. But if you have breakouts, just apply your makeup like you don't have them, because you may cover it in the end. And then at the end, when your face looks like this, you could be like, what? And then you can cover the things that you're not wanting. But I mean, you could easily, this makeup, because the pigmentation is so high with 80% pigmentation, you don't need all of it. You don't need to cake it on. You can easily even out your skin tone, give it structure, and have one easy finish, one layer. You just piece it together like a puzzle. Clicks together, and then you end up with this. I didn't look like this at the beginning, and this is what gives me the confidence. My cheeks are my biggest insecurity. They are what make me think everybody's picking me apart, but I am the only one this close to my face, except right now because you guys are seeing it. But I get the coverage I want, and I get confidence with it, and I don't feel like my makeup looks bad. feel like the makeup looks like makeup, but it's good makeup. It's a piece of art. You're playing with, I mean, makeup should be fun or we're doing it wrong. If it's not fun, it's the wrong makeup for you. Maybe you want to try cream makeup. So message me. We'll do a color match. We'll talk about all the things. I have a form and I do respond. I'm very active. I'm not going to respond to you in like 7 days. I'll respond to you today. And it's just a nice makeup. And if you're already going to try another makeup again, don't spend $40 on a bottle. Try Saint, where you can spend $40 and get your main highlight, your foundation, your concealer, and your contour. So, and I recommend a lot. I'm not going to lie. I recommend a lot, but I am trying to take into account all the things you tell me, all the things I'm seeing, and I want you to love your makeup. I want you to be done with your makeup, and I want you to feel good. Like, that's it for me. When somebody messages me and they're like, I love it. I had somebody message me who I had known forever. Our parents were in the Coast Guard together. We traveled all the time, and she put her makeup on, and she said, I've never felt pretty before. That's why I like to do this. And I was sharing Saint before I was a Saint artist. I was already sharing about it. And I've been using this makeup for 4 years now. I've never used anything for 4 years, except maybe my mom bras. But when something's good, it's good. And so that's it. Okay. You were matched by another. That's okay. You know, if you're somebody else's customer, that's okay too. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. It's fun. I don't need everybody to be my customer. I just want to share what I think works. I've had people struggle and they found a tutorial that might have worked, and that made me feel good. So just being here, that's enough for me. If you have questions, list them in the comments or message me. I'm here, but I really, Luz, is it Luz? Am I saying it right? I want you to try either suede or cedar, and I want you to tell me what happened. Like, find one of my videos, click the little envelope, and I want you to email me and tell me what happened. Because I like to know if what I suggest works and troubleshoot, because then it makes me better. And I like to be better. Okay, the chickens are alive. The chickens are good. The chickens are good. I got my little Ross right here. My little chicken light. Chickens are good. But yes, please tell me how the makeup works. And that's it for today. I will see you guys next Monday. Welcome to April. Go and get Lily. It is a beautiful, beautiful tone. Okay. What else? Oh, new releases. There's a new brush holder. It's a beautiful stand coming out. There's 3 new palettes coming out. I'll let you know what I think of them when I get them. I should have them this week. There's scents coming out. It's coming out with a lotion, a perfume, and a rose gold illuminator that are scented like vanilla. I'm pretty picky on my scents. And the illuminators are nice because it's a cream illuminator, which I think is great for all skin types. And it's also makes your palette smell nice. And okay, I am not in Mexico because we have a lot of trips and it's hard to leave my little girls not because it's hard for me. I love leaving them, but it's just hard getting help with school. So Mexico was not in the cards for me. Maybe the next trip. I don't know. I am going to the reunion in September. That's always super fun, but I am Oregon bound. But we are going to Boston. My husband runs the Boston Marathon. So we also have that. I couldn't do 2 trips like that. It worked out that way last year where the reunion and the Boston Marathon were the same weekend. So I didn't make it to the last reunion either. But we are running in the Boston. Well, my husband is running in the Boston Marathon. And Myrtle Creek. I don't know how far Myrtle Creek is from me. I don't know. I'd have to Google that. It feels like it's close. Is it on the coast? I'm on the coast. I'm right smack in the middle. But yeah, so I'll be in Boston, so it's also too close to the Boston trip. I'm running the 5K. I get to run the 5K in Boston. So if you're in Boston, say hey. We'll be being the tourists, but I will not ride the subway again. That was a bad experience. I will never ride a subway in Boston again. It was so scary. All right. That's it. Welcome to April. Message me and have a great day.